Welcome, everyone, to the Retro Pool Guy podcast. I'm your host, the Retro Pool Guy, and I'd like to welcome back from their Christmas break. We got our producer, the Drunken Beard, but I just call him Nick. How you doing, Nick?
Good. I'm now the substitute beep button, but also very ill for the last 3 weeks.
Oh, you poor soul. Well, hopefully you can make it through this next hour.
We're going to try.
Yes, to talk about Secret of Mana for the Super Nintendo. But we're also joined here, also back from his Christmas break. We have Normal Andy, my co-host. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'm very good.
Very good.
Very
Did
good.
you have a nice break?
It was never long enough. It never is.
Never.
Ugh.
All right.
I'll apologize in advance to Nick for this episode.
We'll see how it goes. We got a lot to say about Secret of Mana this time, so we'll get into that. But first, I wanted to do something here. So, on this show, we usually have a guest, or we're talking about other games or other topics like that. But we never really get a chance to talk about like ourselves, So I wanted to give the listeners an opportunity to kind of get to know us better. Well, you two, anyway. So I came up with a little game, and we're gonna call it the hot seat. And what it is I'm gonna give you guys two options, and I've geared these questions toward you, so you each have your own set of questions, and you just pick out of the two options which one you prefer. Right? Try not to overthink it. You can take a second to think about it. There's no wrong answer, but it's really just to help the listeners kind of get to know you guys a little bit better. How's that sound? Y'all want to do that?
Nah.
Nah.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Well, too bad.
Is it
You're
to choose
doing it
to
anyway.
eat you or Normal Andy in a survival situation? How many pounds? Or
I guarantee you have more meat on my bones. You're better off eating me. But anyways, let's get into this. All right. Andy, we're going to put you on the hot seat first. All right, man? So I got a list of questions here for you. Like I said, you don't have to overthink it. You don't have to explain it. Just, I'm going to give you two options. You pick which one you prefer.
and then he's going to tell you your future and your personality.
Oh, sweet.
Also, for an extra $5, I'll give
Lotto
you
numbers?
Lotto numbers.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
All right, here we go. Andy, on the hot seat. First
Ow.
one. Alex Kidd or Mario?
Neither. It's Alex the Kid.
Whatever. I'm American. I never played that. So, Alex the Kid is your choice?
Hell yeah, it is.
All right. Second one. Chicken or fish?
Oh man. Fish.
Fish. All right.
Which is the chicken of the sea.
It is.
There you go. Sega or Nintendo?
Nintendo.
Ooh, okay. PS1 or Nintendo 64?
Ooh. Oh man. Can I choose both?
No, just one. Pick one or the other, man.
N64.
All right, it's 64. Twisted Metal or Mario Kart?
Mario Kart.
Excellent. This one, okay. Final Fantasy 8 or Final Fantasy 7?
Oh, you son. Oh. Final Fantasy 8.
All right.
My
all
man.
right.
My
Street
man.
Fighter 2 or Mortal Kombat 2?
Oh. Street Fighter 2.
All right, excellent choice. RTS or RPG?
Oh man, these are tough. These are tough in different ways. They hurt my soul. Oh.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me also.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. Let me think about this one. I'm gonna need to. Yeah. Oh crap. I guess what's the context? Am I stuck on a desert island here?
No, it's just a preference, man. Which would you prefer, RPG or RTS?
Definitely a lot more playtime generally with an RPG and a sit down, but not replayability. So
I mean, yeah. I mean, this is like Final Fantasy or Red Alert.
Mm-hmm. It's
Oh,
like,
man.
what kind of gameplay loop do you want?
I think I'll go the RTS.
All right, RTS. And I got one more for you here. A little easier.
Mm.
Cake or pie?
Oh, that's not easier. That's way harder. Oh, oh,
No, it's not. That's an easy one for me.
uh, okay. Pie.
Pie. All right. Just out of curiosity, do you have a
Mm.
favorite pie? What's your favorite pie?
Warm apple pie.
Honestly, yeah, we probably don't get the selection that you American guys get, so apple pie is probably just plain apple pie.
Oh,
No,
wow.
it's good. Apple pie is good, man. I love
Yeah.
put a little.
I mean,
slice of
I
cheese
like a
on
good
that,
apple pie.
man, that's really
I
good.
mean,
Microwave that shit, put some
Oh.
ice cream, some cream. Maybe a
also,
little
if you're
custard.
ever in the LA area, was it the apple? Is it the apple pan? Oh, they have a great apple pie.
Oh my god, that sounds amazing. You know, I've never had like cherry pie. Apparently, that's amazing.
That place has been open for like 100 years and sells a fantastic burger. Has great apple pie. They still use the register from like 1910 in there
It's
and
like
everything.
cha-ching!
Yep, and I think it's
That's
only
awesome.
cash that you can do there. Yeah, it's really cool.
Nice. Do they come out on roller skates?
Nope, just some old people behind the counter. They've been working there for like
Ah.
40 years.
Nah, that's alright, I guess. But yeah, you guys get like a
Cool.
trillion
I would
flavors
go
of
there.
pie. That's insane.
Yeah, we got pie up. Well, you know, we got.
I
a
mean,
lot of
if
pie.
if it can be pied, it's going to be pied here.
All right, Nick, you ready to get on that hot seat?
Sure.
Don't sound too excited, buddy.
There's some tough choices there. I don't know.
I mean,
All right,
I'm pretty good about that kind of stuff. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
let's do it. All right, here we go. First one: Sonic or Mario?
Mario.
All right. Steak and eggs or steak and potatoes?
Steak and potatoes.
Yeah.
Good choice. 3DS or PSP?
PSP.
Mega Man or Mega Man X?
Mega Man X has one of the
Milkshake?
best tutorials ever made.
Right.
Those are
Milkshake
important.
or banana split?
Milkshake.
Mm. Beer or cocktail?
Cocktails.
Metroid or Castlevania?
Are they the same?
Ooh.
And they can be.
So for me, the original Castlevania, that style where it's more linear, not
Like Castlevania 1 and
Uh,
3,
yeah.
maybe 4.
it was more of it tells a story, you're going to do something and you're the badass that's going to go do it instead of kind of like searching around to do it.
Yeah, I gotcha.
He's like, I know where I need to go versus all the other ones I have no idea where I'm going.
Yeah, those are never
Right.
getting finished.
Got two more for you. Cookies or brownies?
Ooh, brownies 99% of the time, definitely,
Ooh. All right, and
especially
last
if they're
one.
overcooked just a little bit.
Yeah, that little crispy edge.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
I
Last
did
one,
the
last one.
chewiness.
Mario 3 or Mario World?
Mario 3 has a higher difficulty overall, but Mario World is just a more refined version of Mario 3, so Mario World.
Yeah,
Mario
you chose
World,
right.
nice
You
choice.
chose right.
Yeah, that's one of for me, man. That's a really hard choice. I love Mario 3. That's definitely like my favorite Mario game. My favorite, but I can't say it's the best. Like I really think that Mario World is a better game, even though
Yeah, I mean,
like
it-
Mario 3
Mm.
better. There's just they really just expanded on 3. Like they took 3 and they're like, we could do so much more, and they did.
I can definitely play World more than I can play 3. Like, it's just more enjoyable overall. Slightly better music. Obviously it's going to have better graphics,
The thing-
but it's just
the only thing with
it just
World
feels a little
is
better.
It also feels. I mean, like you said, 3's harder. So I like
yeah.
harder. I think that's why it's my favorite.
3 can be
World, it feels really
brutal in
easy.
some of them.
Yeah.
Some of those
I
I mean,
very
Special World though
unforgiving.
was pretty hard.
Yeah, that's what I like to do. Is I like to when I play Mario World, do the special world first. I do that
Yeah.
as soon as I can, complete it all the way so it changes the world, and it actually makes the levels a little bit more tougher.
Yeah.
But you can also cheat because
Yeah.
basically every shell is a blue shell after that, and you
Yeah.
can just fly through every single level if you really want to.
That's my kind of game.
You're
Yeah.
right.
All right, well, I hope y'all had fun with that. I know I did. I loved hearing you guys make your choices.
Some of those questions
So-
were traumatizing.
Well, I mean, yours were way harder than mine. I was like, man, it's like 3DS PSP. Fuck, I used the PSP for like
Yeah.
years just as an emulation box.
Andy had the advantage because I did his questions first.
Mhm.
so I had to think of like a second set of questions for you. But all right, let's talk about Secret of Mana, released in 1993 for the Super Nintendo, published by Square Enix. But before we get into our usual review of music, graphics, and gameplay, we're gonna do the Did You Know?
Did you know? Did you know? Did you know? Did you know? The pool guy wants to know if you know. So did you friggin' know? Did you know?
All right, did you know all things about Secret Mana this time? Kind of a short one, but I have a feeling this might trail us off a bit because there's some info here. So, first one, did you know Secret of Mana was originally developed for the SNES CD, but was moved to cartridge when the Sony deal fell through and they never developed the Super Nintendo CD.
Ah, that makes a little sense.
I did
Yeah.
know, and it also caused lots of headaches because they had to downsize the
Hang on.
everything.
Let's get through the did you know first.
All right.
All right. Like I said, it's a short one, but it's probably going to lead into some combo here. So just give me a second. All right. So did you know, number 2, the English translation was done in 30 days and gutted most of the story. They put a rush on it because they wanted it out before the holiday. So he had 30 days to translate it, and he's
Oh.
like, "This sucked." And
Oh, that poor
there's
guy.
some interviews with him where he's like, "Yeah, I felt really bad, man, because I had to literally just like take it down to bare bones. Like there was just so much." And
Yeah.
Yep.
bare bones.
I knew that as well. Hence why when we were talking about it earlier, I was like, "What do you
know
expect?"
everything about this game.
That explains
don't know
so
everything,
friggin' much.
All right, and
I know
one more.
I know a lot of the technical background of it, but that's about it.
One more, did you know? Because of the switch to the cartridge, they had to remove major parts of the game, like multiple pathways that would lead to different endings. So,
Yep.
I want to
Which-
play that version.
yeah, it was basically
so-
it was totally planned for something else. It was planned for the CD, which okay, for the listeners out there, let's give a quick little explanation. Back in the day, Sony teamed up with Nintendo during the Super Nintendo days, and they were in development of making an add-on similar to the Sega CD, where you play CD games on your Super Nintendo. But I'm not sure what happened. The deal fell through, licensing or whatever. Sony backed
no.
out. What happened? You
I-
know what happened?
I
don't
know
know
what
the
happened.
details.
Of course, I know what
Fill
happened.
us in.
Come on now.
Fill us in, Nick.
So what
As a Nick-
happened? So they were teamed up with Philips to make the CD ROM for as well. So they in the back room they worked with Philips with Sony, but they didn't tell Sony they were working with Philips. And then yeah, so it was like a whole like slap to the face because I believe they announced that it was a Space World or it was at an E3 that they were going to work with Philips instead of Sony for the laser, and Sony was caught off guard on that and basically said, you know what, fine, we're going to do it ourselves. We're going to make our own game console. PS1,
boy, did
you know,
they ever.
was born. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
and then that's why the CDI, Philips CDI, has Zelda and Mario on it, because they were able to use those IPs, part of that deal that ultimately also fell through.
Right. There you go. Nick with the did you know? No, that's cool. So yeah, so because of that, they were the developers wanted to scrap it. They were just like, nah, like this is useless. You know, we can't put this on cartridge. And then the corporate execs were said, nah, you're gonna do it anyway. And
Yeah.
Mhm.
so they did, and yeah, they had to gut a lot of stuff out of this game. So
But fortunately, in the sequel, which was not released in the United States, they were able to do the multi Indians and multi paths.
yeah,
Sickening it
technology
into
caught up with their dream.
Unfortunately, could not be released here by that time because I believe it was too close to when they wanted to release the N64. So they didn't want to invest that kind of money into a game like that. Same thing I believe happened with Star Ocean as well.
Why do all these execs ruin everything?
Right? So, and Star Ocean's like the largest game for the Super Nintendo ever made, I believe.
Really?
Has
Like physical size?
like the storage size, and had like a special chip, the DDU, I believe it was called.
Hmm.
I'm getting off track, but it allowed like a bunch of things like voice acting and stuff, which was kind of
Oh,
cool.
cool. Sweet.
That's on the Super Nintendo.
That's on the Super
Ocean?
Nintendo. It was only released in Japan. I actually have a copy of the Japanese
I
version, but there is a lovely English translation of it
Is it
that
the
you can.
different version than the Star Ocean I played on PlayStation 1?
That is correct. So Star Ocean on PlayStation 1 is Star Ocean 2.
Man,
So it's
Oh god,
just
it's
sequel.
Final
those
Fantasy all
tricky
over again.
Japanese guys doing it again.
So we'll look
Mario 2,
into
is it
those
Mario
in the
2?
future. But that's it's Star Ocean also on the Super Nintendo is very, very fun. And it will be one of my suggestions in the future. Granted, we'll play the translated version. But
Love the Star Ocean games. That was fun. Love that.
yeah. But yeah. And do you have any more? Did you know? Because I have a couple more.
No,
for
go
you.
ahead, bust it out, Nick. Let's do it.
So
Professor Nick.
the in opening has that beautiful large like painted pixel art that expands the entire screen. That takes so long to actually load from memory. They synced it with the audio while it comes while it's loading at the same time and fading in. So the user doesn't really see that, but it kind of gives you that immersion of like suspense, something big's
Nice.
happening, and
I like
it
that.
loads that giant, beautiful mana tree, and then the birds, the flamingos, come flying in. That was really cool. And then
That's
of course the mana tree as well. Cry is a whale song or cry, so it's a whale. I guess.
Whale.mp3.
Yeah, right. That they kind of like stretched out a bit and changed, but that's the audio of the mana tree.
That's so cool.
That's pretty cool. That is.
And of course the audio director on this was just insane. He was basically let go to do whatever he wanted. And it shows because it's, in my opinion, probably some of the best music in a video game ever. But that's my bias.
There's only 2 songs that drive me nuts. That's it.
Ha!
We'll get into that.
Well, are we ready to get into that? You got any more facts that you would like to drop on us?
I think I think those are the big ones that most people know as well. But I mean, it's nice to share there.
No, that's good. Thank you, man. I appreciate it because
Mhm.
I didn't
Yeah.
know those things. So. All right, so let's get into our review. And if you've listened to the show before, you know how we do this. We're going to talk about the music, we'll talk about the graphics, and then we'll talk about our gameplay experience. So, first, let's talk about that music, Andy. Which 2 tracks did bother you?
I'll preface this by saying that the music is brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant, and it's amazing, and it's the kind of thing you can just leave on in the background. But there's 2 songs that drove me insane. Like how you were talking like on the Pokemon episode, how it was like an earworm that just grinded against you. What's it? The first time when you go to where the dwarves are, Oh, actually,
Oh, the dwarf music.
no,
What?
sorry. There's two songs that pop up a lot, and they repeat. They always repeat. Like you go to different areas and it comes up. It's like a generic town music. The one with like the
Yeah,
accordion. That that drives me insane.
Oh, I love that song.
I
Oh, come
hate
on.
that song. I hate it.
Oh, that is just pure like Secret of Mana.
I don't know what it is. That song just grinds against my soul. I have to like mute it. And the other one is and this is really gonna upset some people, but the other one's the boss fight music. Not because it's
What?
bad, but because it's the
It's-
same freaking song every single time.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I can see that, but I wouldn't say it bothers me. It's a very intense song. But
It's
I
full
think
on,
they
yeah.
were just running out of storage, to be honest with you, when it came to
Yeah,
that.
like I'm not gonna blame them. It's not the fact that they're bad songs. It's just that they kept repeating over and over and over, and I was just like, oh my god. Ugh.
RPGs.
I've just been spoilt
Right.
with like good music. I can't say that because it is, but like for some reason those two songs were the only ones that stood out and just like grinded against me. Ugh.
I completely understand how you
Yeah.
feel. Nick, tell us how you feel about the music, man. I think we got a good idea, but please elaborate.
I really do love the music, and yeah, it's one of those things that it's ingrained in my brain. Like anytime I even hear it when a streamer has it in like the background as a background music or something like that. Oh, it's Secret of Mana. Yeah, I used to like sleep with the TV on, with
Yeah.
with that playing in the background, and so yeah, all of them are just kind of burned into my head. But it's just so unique too, though. Like all of the music in that game is a little bit more unique than
Mm.
all the other JRPGs of the time. There's a
Stands
couple that
out.
are very similar to things in Chrono Trigger, but obviously that's probably from being on this a similar team.
Is
But,
that like the generic adventure music, like when you go to like an open map, it's like that.
Yeah, exactly.
That is the one that reminds me of Chrono Trigger a lot. Yeah.
Yep. So there's a little influence between them, but
They're good though.
yeah, for me, I love the music. It's very anytime any of the songs come up, you can just instantly recognize what game it's from.
Yeah.
In my opinion, they don't have the melodies are just like spot on just for Secret of Mana.
Mm.
All right. My review of the music, it's fantastic. Knowing what kind of limitations they had to work with, switching over from a CD game to a cartridge and everything, they did a fantastic job with the music. I really like it. It's perfect for the game. I have no complaints. Like this is top-notch stuff. Like it's really good. So yeah, no complaints at all from me about the music. I do kind of agree with Andy. There's certain parts that are a little repetitive, but it's a Super Nintendo game, and I cut them a lot of slack for that because there's a lot of games where the music is the same. Like a lot of Final Fantasy games, the box music is the same, over and over. So
there are 44 songs and
yeah,
or 44 tracks, and
they even released a soundtrack. When they can release a soundtrack for a game
in '94, they released the soundtrack.
Yeah. So that says a lot about the music right there alone. So yeah, no complaints about the music whatsoever. They did a really great job on this one. So let's get into one of my favorite things about this game, and that's the graphics. So
Oh god.
Andy, let's start with you, man. How do you feel about the graphics with Secret of Mana?
It's classic. Absolutely classic. Like it's that pixel JRPG style that everyone knows, It's famous from Square. Iconic even, I would say. Yeah, absolutely no problems there. The game looks amazing.
You didn't even get to the Mana Dragon fight at the end.
I know. I believe me, I am kicking myself over my attitude towards this game, but there are a lot of elements to it that are making sense to me, like its development, like being problematic and things like that kind of fall into place. But I really should go back and finish it because, like you said, it is in the top 5 for a reason, but I feel like it just kind of went right over my head, and I feel like such a dunce because I just didn't get it. I'm standing there like, what am I missing?
You're just trying to save the mana tree, and that's what you need to do.
I know.
We'll get into the
I feel
gameplay some
terrible.
more.
I feel terrible.
Nick, tell us your opinions on these graphics, man.
I mean, they used every part of the Super Nintendo they could to make this thing work. Especially coming down from the CD. I mean, again, the opening pixel art of the mana tree that they loaded in, it was just like a giant bitmap picture of it. It's just gorgeous, and bringing in the layers of the cranes, coming through, and they're moving and flapping in front of it. It's just like crazy at the time. This isn't on a CD. This is just on a Super Nintendo. And then, of course, all the pixel art. And then the boss fights pixels arts are so good. They're huge sprites. And then the Mana Dragon is different because it's actually uses mode 7 for the fight. So it's one of those rare games where it's like the entire like platform and stuff are just like you're up in the air on a on the I don't remember. It's basically a floating dungeon. Floating castle, a mechanical castle, and yeah, you can see down the whole ground below while you're fighting this giant mana dragon. It's crazy. Top-notch graphics.
Yes. I will, absolutely agree. The graphics are beautiful. This is one of the best I've seen like on Super Nintendo, and what I really liked about it was the attention to details. Like, even though they with all the restrictions and all, having to go back and all that stuff, they still took the time to do like little things like the grass. Okay, the grass is blowing in the wind, and I don't know, to me that looks really cool on the Super Nintendo to take that little bit of effort,
Being
to
able
make
to
the
cut the grass
move.
as well.
Yeah, and you can still cut the grass. Like,
Mm.
it's moving and you
Mhm.
can cut it. So
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's just really
The-
cool. And like the water, the streams and stuff, man,
Mm.
it's a gorgeous game. Like,
It
it's
is.
really
That's the
just
word for it,
beautiful.
yeah.
It's like they really pushed the Super Nintendo. I feel like they pushed it like as hard as they could with the graphics, and they did a fantastic job. Like, it's absolutely stunning for a Super Nintendo game. Like, I love Final Fantasy VI, but man, the graphics in this game are like 1,000 times better.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Like, that-
and I do
it's
want
up
to
there.
make one correction. It's Mana Beast. I kept saying Mana Dragon. Sorry.
Beast,
Mana
dragon.
Mana Dragon.
Eh.
It's a big
Dragon Beast.
flying thing with wings, so
Big old beastie thing. We get it. All right. I think we're all in agreement, right? Beautiful, like definitely one of the most beautiful games on the Super Nintendo. I mean,
Easily.
I can't think of anything that would actually beat out this one. This one's
I'm
just
sure.
gorgeous, man. Like,
but
I'll
it's-
give it that for sure. But let's get into the gameplay. I have a feeling this is when things are gonna take a little turn. Andy, shall we start with you? Tell us how you feel about the gameplay.
This is where everyone changes their opinion about me. I don't know. Like, I didn't overly enjoy my time with this game, but I don't know how much of that is just me being willfully ignorant, or maybe just not spending enough time with it. But like,
Did you read the instruction manual at least?
I got the Switch version and it has a form of instruction manual, but it's not the original one. So no, I never did.
Mhm.
And that's important for these games because in that era, like, there was a lot of important information you had to have in there, which might explain a lot about my experience with it. But
I think so.
overall, like, I found, and this is just me, okay? Because this game's top 5, we all know that it's considered a classic, but this is just me. I found the menus to be clunky as hell, the UI, and like trying to find all your different items and switching between the characters and things like that. Again, these are all things I probably could have learned from the manual, but I didn't have it. I kept getting like changing weapons and things like that was just confusing. I was like, wait, so this character you have to swap over to this character to do that. And
Mhm,
it was just I ended up avoiding all of that because I was just so like dumbfounded by it all. But like outside of things like moving your character around and things like that, that's fine. That it's like typical RPG stuff. It just comes naturally to you. But then there's the combat, which drove me insane, especially the first boss,
Oh my god.
because I just couldn't figure out like you swipe the sword and then it goes all the way up to 100 and it goes ding, and then you can swipe again. And I just kept found it awkward having to like, do I have to move out the way of these people? Do I have to go back and forth? Does that matter? And then I just kept dying over and over on the first boss. It was a steep learning curve for me with controls, but I mean, there's like probably what
And
20
again,
people out there like deleting me off Twitter right now because of my opinion.
you know, it's not like they give you a bunch of bunnies and stuff to attack all the way before even getting to this boss,
I
so you
know.
can learn how to attack things.
I was just distracted by the music, I guess. I don't know. I didn't find the combat or the menu system to be very good, in my opinion. But my biggest problem was that I kept comparing this game to Chrono Trigger, which I shouldn't have been doing, but I couldn't help it for some reason. That probably cast a shadow over the whole experience too. But anyway, that's my opinion of it.
Right. I'm gonna go ahead before you, Nick, so that way you can just rip into both of us at the same time. Because
This is a smart idea. Yeah, let's get this out of the way.
I didn't like it. Listen, this is a beautiful game. The graphics are beautiful.
No
the
one's gonna
music is
deny that.
amazing. But when it came to the gameplay, it was so hard to stay interested. I really struggled with this one. Like Andy, I don't know what I'm missing.
I don't
Right?
know what you're
Like,
missing.
I don't
either.
get it.
What,
Like
what is it?
this, like, okay, the story itself. All right, first, like I said before, when we were just chatting, I kind of got some Excalibur storyline feeling, from this one, and I don't know, like, and knowing that they had to gut it, it really like didn't help either. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
that
so
makes a
now
lot of
I
sense now.
know that
Yeah.
I'm reading like half the story, so that that didn't really help get me interested either. But the combat, okay, the combat, it feels like they couldn't decide if they wanted to go with, a straight up turn based like Final Fantasy, or if they wanted to go action RPG like Zelda. So they tried to mix it. And for me, that doesn't work very well, at least not in this game. I would have either liked to see them just go one way or the other.
Mm.
And that's just my preference. I do like a lot of the things that they did with being able to kind of set the AI for your other characters, in battle and stuff like that. I like that. You still see that in some future games. It kind of reminds me, or future games, more current games, I should say. Um, like Rogue Galaxy. Okay, the combat is very similar to that game, but like that game's newer, so they were able to refine it and stuff. So, I mean, it's an inspiration to other games, but I feel like the combat is just kind of lacking. That whole waiting thing, and I don't know. I don't like that. If we're gonna do an action RPG, let's just go action RPG. You know what I mean? Don't make me wait.
I mean, it is an action RPG.
Walk around.
You don't have to wait.
It's a half RPG.
What are you talking about? Why are you waiting?
You gotta wait for it to be 100%.
For it to be 100%.
Oh, so
before you
like
swing your
stamina
sword.
in like any other game?
Yeah, but
Yeah, but it's
Oh.
like, see, that's the thing though. Like, you have to,
Ye-
you have an attack, an ATB gauge in the turn-based games too, but
Mhm.
it's different. You're not walking around. You're just waiting, and you can. Set
So
it to
you
action
realize.
too,
So did you know that each time you swipe on something, it stacks them as like layered attacks?
Nope. What's
So
that?
like when you got two enemies in front of you and you hit them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No. So if you swipe twice or 3 times, the game registers each swipe as an attack that's layered on top. So you can like do a stun or something on top of that. You can hit someone to stop them from attacking. You don't have to wait at 100% until 100%. You can use it also to be defensive as well.
Just kind of bonk them on the head,
That must have been in the manual.
you know.
You'll notice it when you're like attacking. Even in early game with like the mushrooms and stuff that will like start spinning. If you just attack them, they'll stop, right? Or you can stun them. Same as the flowers at the beginning as well. Even if you just swipe attack and you do only 2 damage instead of the 20, you prevented them from attacking. So that's kind of why they put it there. So you can, it's kind of like a block.
Okay, that makes sense. Like I said before, like I feel like there's a lot I'm missing here that's kind of prevented me from fully enjoying the experience. Like I feel like the manual is probably the best place to start with this game.
Well, you didn't even know how to charge your attacks. I don't know.
No, I did not know that was a thing.
That's like
Yeah, that's does help
you
to
ain't
know
going to
that.
be getting very far without charging all your attacks. That's for sure.
I got 6 bosses in, but I just got bored. I don't know.
And of course you got your magic and well, just go through a couple things. The menu system, I actually like the ring system because it's pretty simplified and quick to get the things in mid combat. Being able to swap between everyone's inventory, what items they have, and whatnot, all with the ring system versus just a full screen. Just takes you out of the game. I prefer that because I can still see the environment, and you can go to your items, you can go to the magic, you can go to your which are basically the summons in this game. Being able to target what's on the field and see what's out there. I remember one of you guys saying that it felt unfair that they can just stop you in mid combat while they cast a spell on you or something, even though you do the same exact thing to the enemies. So I'm like, I don't, and you can do that, with 3 characters, and swapping characters and changing characters are like key in the game as well. Being proficient with each character is really helpful. Because different weapons and different things are better against different bosses. What was I also? The other cool thing though, we can add that to your did you know? Is this game is actually multiplayer. You can play 3 players if you have a multi-tap.
Yeah, that blew my mind. Yeah.
So
That is a
each
very
one of your
cool feature,
friends
yeah.
can take a character. But if you only have 2 people, you can definitely the second player can play one of the other 2 characters, and that's basically how they made their difficulty on this game. Yeah, like if you have more friends, it's easier.
Okay.
So because now the AI is not controlling them, and so that was another thing. For me, the combat's fine. You just gotta. It's more about timing in this game. It feels more like a Dark Souls game where you're waiting for openings and attacking when there's like weakness.
Who's got time for strategy and thinking? Ugh.
So I like the combat in that sense where it's more strategic than like a turn-based Final Fantasy VI kind of thing, and more kind
where you
of
can just kind of overpower. You can just level
Yeah.
up and overpower.
Yep. So you kind of need to know who you're fighting and what protections and do these things, like, am I going to outrange them? Do I need to use a whip here? Do I need to use a sword here? Do I need to use my spear, hammer? There's so many weapons in the game too, and you can charge them up and do just massive damage. And then of course all the elemental summons. I mean, there's just so much I'm surprised at how much I crammed into it. Yeah, the story's pretty weak. I mean, there's the the sleeping town, or the town that's been taken over by like some sort of cult leader, and you're like, well, this is kind of lame. But I don't know. For me, actually, the best part about this game is the combat, and this is what I come back for when I come and play. Personally. And let's not even forget, this game has some of the best fast travel in a game that like was never even like introduced for a lot of other games. They had the cannon system in this game where before you have a mount, or some sort of flying thing. So you can actually cannon to a different part of the map as long as you unlock each cannon. So it's kind of like how fast travel is in modern games, where you unlock towers to travel to another tower, right?
One thing that would have made this better was a map. Not having a map sucked.
That's why I like
Yeah.
the 2018 version better.
Yeah, it was daunting for me. It was
map.
confusing for me. But yeah, the fast travel is good. But like having to remember where to go all the freaking time without a map was frustrating.
But when you get your mount, Flanagan, you basically see the whole thing real quick. 'Cause I think you unlock him only like halfway through the game.
I was gonna say I obviously did not make it that far. This is what I mean. Like I feel like I'm missing something. Like I had to keep going, but oh god, it wore me down.
Yeah, because the world's actually much bigger. You're still just on, I think, the same main continent, and
Possibly, yeah.
There's
I made
more
it to
continents.
where the Moogles are, the snowy bit with the Moogles.
Okay, yeah, I think you're pretty close. So it's like from there, like the game opens up even bigger. There's like islands and continents and things that you can go land at.
I wonder if I'd like gotten that far, whether my opinion of the entire game would have been different.
Probably, to be honest with you, when it starts opening up and you get all this other stuff, I mean, it's just really cool. And how the world changes as like the mana tree dies is crazy.
Okay. I'll have to go back and try. I owe it to myself to finish this. I want to see what everyone else says about this game. I feel like I missed it.
Yeah, it was, man. The last chapter is just so good in this game. So I highly recommend trying to finish. It might feel a little clunky, but if you're not used to that type of combat, but there's a reason on how they have it set up. But yeah, I mean, it's for me probably one of the best combat systems.
Let me ask you, before we get into our final thoughts, Nick. So this was my first time playing it, and Andy, this was your first time playing it too, right?
I played it as a kid back in the day. A friend of mine had it, but I didn't get anywhere near as far as I did.
So I was just curious, Nick, about the first time you played it. Like when did you discover this game?
I played this back when I was 12. So
12? Was it like a gift, or did your parents buy it? Did you pick it out?
I traded my bus driver
Nice.
Mystic Quest, and we exchanged our games for a year.
That's the coolest bus driver I've ever heard of.
Your bus driver is cool.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's so cool.
And it was a she too, so it was
Nice.
really cool. But yeah,
Okay. So how did you get to the point where you were trading games with your bus driver? Were you sitting up front talking to her, like? Were you driving
So I lived
her?
out on the sticks, so we were so far out, like near the Idaho border, basically. So we at the time lived in Colville, or outside of Colville, and the bus ride was like an hour, in the morning, something like that. And we were like, I think the second pickup, so just lots of time to talk and talk about games and where we were and what we were doing.
Hail to the bus driver.
Right?
Man, that's what's so cool about like those days back in the 90s with like Super Nintendo and stuff. It's like everybody was playing, man. Not just kids, but like parents were all up in that too, man. And
Oh yeah.
I don't feel like it's the same today, like with PS5 and all that junk. Like I don't see as many parents as like into it as they were back then. Like even my parents were sitting down playing Tetris and Super Mario World, or they'd go get those crappy casino games, and play those, and all kinds of stuff, man. Just so funny.
Well, I think a lot more parents now play probably more casual games, like on their mobile phone and stuff.
Yeah.
I think more people are playing games. It's just not the type of games that you would consider a game.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably very true. All right, let's get into our final thoughts. Andy, we'll start with you, buddy. Final thoughts on Secret of Mana.
I think that the jury's kind of undecided on this because I feel like I've missed the point of this entire thing. Like, if I was to just make a final decision now on how I am right now, I would say that don't please don't skin me over this, but I think it's overrated and like unfinished, and that it makes sense to me when people say, "Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's missing from it," and it's like, yeah, I kind of get that. So I didn't enjoy it. I'd give it a flat 7 out of 10, but that's just like because of how far I got. Like I said, there's probably people out there wanting to skin me alive now because of what I just said.
Mm-hmm.
If I kept playing and this opens up, and it might change my mind. So I'm being open-minded about this. I feel like I missed the plot on this, and that it's not the fault of the game 100%. It's kind of on me a little bit. So I'm going to give it more time. I'm going to go back and I'm going to try and play through it a bit more. But yeah, I missed
the
the point of this
instruction
whole
manual and read that through first as well. Just also to look at the artwork because it's fantastic in that instruction manual.
But yeah, overall,
and then get the player's guide too. The player's guide's actually really good for this game.
I
The
should
original
just print
player's
out
guide.
the walkthrough for like 20 cents.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm just saying like the official player's guide was actually really nice. I had that when I was little.
You should
So
find it and mail it to me.
you're all the way on the other side of the world. It cost me probably more to mail it to you than it would be for me to buy it.
Probably at 100% would be. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I found myself getting bored and just felt very grindy through this whole experience. But yeah, to be fair, it's probably just it's on me. I think it's on me. So yeah. Anyway.
All right. Well, Nick, let's hear your final thoughts on Secret of Mana.
I mean, for me, it's probably my second favorite game on the Super Nintendo, and like one of my top like 10 of all time. It is a masterpiece of just visual storytelling, and just gameplay is unique, and they've carried it on for a long time. I mean, I believe they even still use the same ring system in the current ones. So lucky Andy. Go play any of the new stupid rings. They won't go anywhere.
Why does my cat hurt?
But I mean, I've played it through probably, I don't know, 10 or 20 times over the last 25 years. Yeah, I'm biased, but it's, I mean, I can't be that biased if everyone else thinks it's also that good. So
That's why I keep thinking there's something wrong with me.
right, I'm like, I don't know. It's for me, it's a fantastic. It's part of my childhood, and nostalgia with the music and the graphics. Love it.
Very good, very good. So here's my final thoughts on Secret of Mana. If you are hardcore into RPGs and games like that, you're gonna really love this game. If you are more of a platformer, or even, let's say, a casual player, kind of like me, I play different style games. I love RPGs, but they're not really like my favorite genre. Then this game is probably not going to go that great for you. You might not like it. That's where I'm at. It's a beautiful game, beautiful graphics, beautiful music, a lot of ambition. But for me personally, I didn't really like it. I don't
Not
I
enough
don't
blind
care for
platforms for him
combat.
to jump into the abyss too.
I love platform games. Anyways, yes. It's for me. It's I don't know. It's just not didn't click for some reason. But I tried the 2018 version on PS4, and I liked that one a lot better.
The one that has been critically panned by pretty much everyone.
The one that everybody hates is the one that I seem to enjoy more, because they tweaked the combat and made it like a little better. They added some things, that weren't originally in the game, like a map. You actually have a map on the screen that you can use.
That's
the
pretty
graphics are so bad.
Yeah, I was about to say they updated, quotations, updated the graphics, okay? So it loses that charm. Like there's a lot of charm in the original, a lot of heart. You can see it in their work. And then when
Polygon
they
gave the
updated
game
it-
a 5.5
Out of 5.
and
out of 10.
out of 4. No. And so It's yeah, the 2018 version though, you have all the voice acting and stuff, which is cool because the voices they sound great, you know what I mean? But the characters themselves, like their mouths don't move or anything. They just kind of put the camera on them and they like bob up and down, you know. it looks bad. I'm not gonna lie. Like when they're doing the cutscenes, it looks bad, but you don't have to read anything, so
There's a plus.
yeah, it's a little more entertaining. I don't know. Maybe we've just
You don't have. Is that your? You really don't want to read?
No.
Not all the time.
How?
No. Like I mean, when it comes to games, like back then,
You
it
are
was
what's
okay,
wrong with society.
But now, like since
Well,
what? Since like PlayStation 1 and PS2, we started using voice acting. So
No.
like
no.
I never like if I have a choice, I usually set it to like Japanese and then put my subs on.
I kind
almost
of
every game.
agree. I actually don't
you
like
would
the
like
voice
that,
acting in
'cause you
Japanese.
can do that in the 2018 version. You can do Japanese voiceovers with stuff.
I find
You
it
know what
so
I also could do?
distracting.
Play the Super Nintendo version.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Like Final Fantasy was way better before they started voice acting. Like, ugh.
God. Yeah, I can't do the dub voice stuff much.
Yeah.
It's painful most of the time.
yeah, yeah, I agree with
It can be good though. I like it.
that.
Oh. Oof.
So it's yeah. I mean, it is a great game. It's definitely not a bad game. I think it's just me. It's not you. It's me.
Derek, how old are you? Are you like 17? What?
38. What is that supposed to
There's no battle royale mode in this game. It sucks.
Yeah, right? Oh god.
be? There's no battle royale.
Where's the in-game currency?
What? Where's all my DLC? Why
I need
can't
a
I
battle
give them my
pass.
credit card? Yeah, battle
There isn't
pass.
even a freaking battle pass.
Wait, you only want me to play this once? What's going on?
Ugh. Ah.
Yeah. Not for me.
Jesus Christ. I'm making you play every single second, every Secret of Mana game.
Well, I
Apparently
mean,
the
if I
second
like
one's
the
way
updated
better.
version, then I'll probably like the second one better. You know?
A lot of people
So-
told me the second one was the winner.
Well, I mean, it's the third one, but yeah.
Oh, sorry. Let me rephrase that then. I'm getting skinned alive.
The
again.
second one is the winner. Is the one we just played.
Trials of Mana is the one I was told. Is the big-
Trials of Mana.
Yeah. No,
Uh-oh.
no.
Second Densu 3 is what it's called.
I don't know. Hang on. Let me get. I've got the collection of mana here.
Unless
Trials
that's what,
of
like,
Mana. That's what it says.
Well, I don't know what they like. Maybe
Play the
renamed
third
it.
game in the Mana series and experience a unique journey that evolves.
Okay, Trials of Mana. Okay, I just know it by like it's just Secret of Mana 3 is what it was like.
The Wii
released
title.
as.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't know they actually gave it a name.
yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it was Seiken Densetsu 3 is what it was called. So
Yeah, there you go.
the Trials of Mana is the remake.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Was that on PlayStation or Super Nintendo?
Trials of Mana was on the PlayStation 4, Windows, Android, iOS,
Okay.
and was released in 2020. And yeah, that's
So
a
that was
completely-
never released in like an English localization until then.
I don't believe so. No.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, because it was released in '95.
Yeah.
So for them to localize it here, the N64 would have been out by then.
Okay, all right. Well, anyway, that's the one that I was told was good. But yeah,
It is good. It's very good.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, guess we're gonna go from a really good game to a not so good game for next month. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this because next
I would like to remind the listeners when we play
Yeah.
good games, it's because of me. Just
Uh-huh.
FYI.
I don't know if you guys are ready for this one because this is probably, I think this game that we're gonna do next month is probably one of the hardest games ever made on NES. And I think the reason why it's so hard is because it's kind of janky. Honestly, like this is gonna be tough. This ain't gonna be easy.
Dr. Jekyll
We're gonna.
and Mr. Hyde.
Oh no!
Oh
Please,
no!
God,
Come
no!
on now. Let's not. Come on. We're a
Oh.
Silver
serious
Surfer?
program here. We're not gonna do that. You know, Silver Surfer would be good, but no. This one is Godzilla for the NES.
Oh, that's a good game. I like that.
I love this game. It was a regular rental for us as kids. I got a lot of stories. Good one. But
Is
man,
this worth tracking down and getting physically?
hard. Okay. If you're a fan of Godzilla and you know, played this game as a kid, then yeah, you know, it's worth getting because it is I wouldn't say it's expensive, but it's on the higher end compared to most games, you know, like most NES games you can get for like 10, 15 bucks. This one's probably around 30 or 40,
Hmm.
$40, maybe upwards of 50 if you want something complete. But yeah, it's hard. It's a hard game though, like really hard. So maybe emulate it first and try it, see if you like it before you actually purchase this one.
We'll see.
But if you're a Godzilla fan, then you're gonna love it. Like I love it. I love Godzilla. All the Godzilla movies and stuff, which that's what we'll be talking about next month too, is Godzilla movies and all that. So yeah, it's gonna be one big Godzilla episode. But this game is gonna be, whew, gonna be rough, man. I think Battletoads might actually be easier than this one.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's good.
Will be another game we don't finish.
Nope. I have to beat this game. It's very important to me that I.
Have you ever
finish
beaten
this
it?
one. Nope.
Oh, okay.
And I will get into that more in the next episode. But yeah, this one it is very important that I beat this game this time. Like very serious. I'm taking it down. I'm going balls to the wall on this one. Like but we'll get into that next time. All right. So I want to thank you guys for joining us. Welcome back again, Nick. Thank you, man, for being
Yeah, you.
here. Andy, as always, man, such a pleasure to have you here.
Be you.
And thank you, everyone out there, for listening. We appreciate you guys, every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. And always, please remember, the light at the end of the tunnel may be you. Goodbye, everyone. Yay.